Among the infinite realities that drift through existence, there are places that should not exist. One such place is a train that arrives only for those destined to uncover impossible truths. Tonight's story begins with Detective Samuel Graves and a letter that should never have reached him. The envelope appeared on my desk sometime after sunset. No stamp, no return address, no indication of who had delivered it. Inside was a single sheet of paper. It contained only one sentence. Board the midnight train, a murder has been committed. The killer is among the passengers. That was all. No victim, no suspects, no location. Just a challenge. I should have ignored it. Instead, I spent the evening thinking about it, and at exactly 11:45 my telephone rang. The voice on the other end belonged to an old man. His words were calm, deliberate. "The train has arrived, Detective Graves." Then the line went dead. Black Hollow Station had been abandoned for nearly 20 years. No train stopped there anymore. No passengers waited on its platform. Yet when I arrived, a black locomotive sat silently in the darkness. Steam drifted around it like ghosts. The engine made no sound. No conductor stood nearby. No lights shone from the station. The train simply waited, as if it knew I was coming. Every instinct told me to leave. Instead, I stepped aboard. The moment my foot crossed the threshold, the train began to move. Not with a jolt, not with the grinding of steel. It simply started gliding forward. Smoothly, silently, as though the darkness itself had begun carrying it. Inside the passenger car sat 7 people. A businessman, a school teacher, a soldier, a priest, a musician, a young mother holding a sleeping child, and an elderly woman quietly knitting. No one appeared surprised to see me. The businessman smiled. "Detective Graves," he said, "we've been waiting for you." A chill ran through me. "How do you know my name?" The elderly woman answered. "Because you're investigating the murder." I glanced around the compartment. Who was killed? No one answered. Instead, the young mother asked,
"Have you figured out who did it yet?"
Outside the windows there was nothing. No stars, no moon, no landscape. Only endless blackness. I opened my notebook. Start from the beginning. The businessman nodded.
"I witnessed the murder 3 nights ago."
The school teacher immediately shook her head.
"No, you didn't."
The businessman frowned.
"Of course I did."
"You witnessed a different death." The soldier leaned forward.
"So did all of us."
I stared at them.
"What does that mean?"
The priest folded his hands.
"It means we're describing the same victim."
The musician nodded. But none of us saw him die the same way.
For the next hour.
I listened. The businessman claimed the victim had been pushed from a bridge. The school teacher insisted he died in a fire. The soldier swore he had been shot. The priest believed he drowned. The musician described a fatal fall from a rooftop. The young mother insisted poison was involved. And the elderly woman quietly said he had died peacefully in his sleep. Every story contradicted the others. Yet every witness sounded completely certain. Every detail felt genuine. Finally, I closed my notebook. Only one question remained. If you're all describing the same victim. The compartment became silent. Who was he? No one spoke. Instead, each passenger reached into a pocket, a purse, or a coat. One by one, they produced photographs. The businessman handed me his first, then the teacher.
Then the soldier.
Soon my hands were filled with pictures. I stared at them.
Every photograph
Showed the same man,
the same face.
the same eyes, the same tired expression. My breath caught in my throat, because the man staring back at me from every photograph was me. Was me. For several seconds, no one spoke. The train continued gliding through the darkness while I stared at the photographs spread across my lap. Every picture showed me. Some were recent. Others appeared decades old. One showed me with gray hair. Another showed me in a military uniform I had never worn. One showed me standing beside a woman I had never met. Yet every face was mine. I looked up slowly. Who are you people? The businessman answered first. We've been asking ourselves the same question. The school teacher shook her head. No, we've been asking the wrong question. She looked directly at me. The real question is, who are you? I stood. This is impossible. The soldier laughed softly.
That's exactly what I said.
The young mother hugged her sleeping child.
We all said it.
The priest removed a small pocket watch from his coat. Its hands moved backward.
I arrived here 12 years ago.
The musician smiled.
I arrived yesterday.
The elderly woman quietly added.
I arrived before either of them.
Nothing made sense, yet none of them appeared to be lying. The businessman leaned forward. Do you remember falling through the ice when you were 11? My heart stopped. I had never told anyone about that accident. Not the frozen river, not the scar on my shoulder, not the terror of nearly drowning. Yet he described every detail perfectly. How do you know that?
He smiled sadly.
Because it happened to me too.
One by one, the passengers began sharing memories. My memories, the first girl I loved, the first case I solved, the night my father died.
Every triumph,
Every regret,
every secret I had spent years burying.
they remember them all.
Not as stories they had heard, as experiences they had lived. Finally, I turned to the elderly woman. She seemed less frightened than the others, almost resigned.
Tell me the truth.
The woman nodded.
Then she spoke words.
I will never forget.
We are you.
The compartment became silent.
What?
We are versions of you,
The soldier nodded.
different realities.
The priest added.
Different choices.
The musician smiled weakly.
Different lives.
The young mother lowered her eyes.
Different endings. Suddenly, the photographs made sense. That was why they knew my memories. That was why they knew my fears. Each passenger was another Samuel Graves, another path my life might have taken, another version of me, and every one of them was dead. I looked around the compartment.
Then why are we here?
No one answered. The silence felt heavier than before. Finally, the businessman reached into his coat and removed another photograph. This one showed Black Hollow Station. A crowd stood beneath the old clock, and near the center of the image stood another version of me. The photograph was damaged, his face partially obscured.
What happened to him?
I asked. The passengers exchanged nervous glances. For the first time, genuine fear appeared on their faces. The priest swallowed hard. He found the conductor.
The lights flickered, the train shuddered.
A sound echoed from somewhere beyond the rear door.
Footsteps,
Slow,
measured,
deliberate.
the passengers immediately fell silent.
The young mother's child awoke and began crying.
No one moved.
The footsteps grew closer. Each step seemed impossibly heavy, as though something ancient was approaching. The elderly woman gripped my arm. Her hand trembled. I could feel the fear in her fingers.
Who's coming?
She stared toward the door. The footsteps stopped.
A shadow appeared beneath the threshold.
Then the woman whispered a single word. The conductor. The conductor. The shadow remained motionless beneath the door. No one in the compartment dared speak. The passengers stared as if they were watching an execution about to begin. Then the door slowly opened. The man who entered was impossibly tall. He wore a black conductor's uniform that seemed untouched by time. His face was hidden beneath the brim of an old hat. I could see no eyes, no expression, only darkness. The conductor walked silently down the aisle. The passengers lowered their heads as he passed, not out of respect, out of fear. When he reached my seat, he stopped. Then he extended a gloved hand. Resting in his palm was a train ticket. My name was printed across the front, Samuel Graves. Beneath it was a destination. Final arrival.
What is this? I asked.
The conductor finally spoke. His voice sounded like distant thunder. Your ticket. I stood. I don't belong here. The conductor tilted his head slightly. Every passenger looked away. Even the elderly woman. The conductor spoke again. You belong here more than any of them. Before I could respond, the lights flickered. The windows of the train suddenly changed. The endless darkness vanished. Outside, scenes flashed by, moments from my life. My childhood, my first love, my greatest triumphs, my deepest regrets. The train wasn't traveling through space. It was traveling through me, through every choice I had ever made, every path I could have taken, every life I might have lived. The passengers weren't strangers. There were possibilities, versions of myself created by different decisions, different chances, different destinies. The elderly woman finally stood. For the first time, she smiled. "We aren't here to judge you." The soldier nodded. "We're here to welcome you." A cold knot formed in my stomach.
Welcome me where?
No one answered. Because deep down, I already knew. The conductor slowly pointed toward the door at the end of the car. The door I had never noticed before. Beyond it shone a brilliant white light, the kind people describe when speaking about death. "This is impossible," I whispered. The conductor said nothing. Instead, he handed me another photograph. My hands trembled as I looked down. The image showed Black Hollow Station, the same station where I had boarded. But this photograph was different. Police cars surrounded the platform. Paramedics stood nearby, and lying beside the tracks was a body. My body! Suddenly I remembered the screech of tires, the blinding headlights, the impact. Earlier that evening on my way to the station, a truck had run a red light. I had never arrived at Black Hollow Station. I had died on the way there. The train, the passengers,
The mystery.
none of it had been about solving a murder. The murder victim had been me all along.
The passengers rose from their seats.
One by one they walked toward the glowing doorway.
The soldier,
The priest,
the musician,
the businessman.
the mother and her child.
Finally, only the elderly woman remained. She paused beside me. "What happens now?" I asked. She smiled warmly. "Now you choose." "Choose what?" She glanced toward the light. "Which version of yourself you become." Then she stepped through the doorway and vanished. I looked at the conductor. He waited silently, patiently, as though he had all the time in existence. Perhaps he did. Taking a deep breath, I stepped toward the light. And as I crossed the threshold, I heard the distant whistle of the train one final time.
Some mysteries end with answers.
Others end with acceptance,
Detective Samuel Gray spent his life
searching for the truth, only to discover that the greatest mystery was never who committed the crime. It was understanding that every life is a collection of possibilities. And somewhere beyond the final station, every path eventually meets. Every path eventually meets. Another story has found its place among the endless shelves of existence. Some tales leave us with answers. Others leave us with questions that linger long after the final page has turned. Perhaps tonight's story will travel with you for a while. Perhaps somewhere between imagination and possibility, you'll discover a mystery of your own. Thank you for joining us here at Radio Theater AI, where stories are more than words on a page. They are worlds to explore, mysteries to unravel, and journeys to experience. If you enjoyed this adventure, be sure to subscribe and follow for more original tales from across the infinite realities of imagination. New stories are always waiting, just beyond the next horizon.
Radio Theater AI.
A new way of storytelling, where music, voice, and imagination come together to create unforgettable journeys. Until our paths cross again, keep wondering, keep imagining, and keep listening.